Hello again, YouTube, and exclusively YouTube. I got a very interesting match for you. Now, I want to make it clear, I'm still working on the Gumio situation. We're going to try and make that happen. But this is a cast from the Twitch Rivals event many of us competed in. Two of our friends here are also playing. This was a show match. I've grabbed one of their games. Spawning here on the top right side of the map, it is, of course, none other than the ever-lovely Livibee. And her opponent to the bottom left, good friend of the channel, Terran champion of Season 1 BTSL, we have the blue, nope, not even blue, it's the pink Wardi. I don't know where I got blue from. Now, before I get into the cast, Twitch Rivals had this really cool event. A lot of us got to play in it. Part of it was free-for-alls, part of it was show matches, part of it was a ladder grind. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to go over some of the matches my dear friends played. Now, of course, big shouts to both of these two. They stream on the daily. Twitch.tv/Wardi, that's Wardi with 3 eyes, and of course, Twitch.tv/Livibee. She also has a YouTube channel you should absolutely check out. We've actually, funny enough, Livibee and I have played against each other before, but she vastly outranks me, so I was quite satisfied when I saw I did not have someone such as her in my group to worry about. But we'll talk about me another time, I suppose. Livy will actually be casting one of my ladder grind matches up on her YouTube channel, so if you guys want to check that out, super duper recommend. Oh, I gotta do this thing really quick. Good scroll. But yeah, Livy will be casting one of my matches over there, so if you want to see how I did in one of my games, be sure to go to her YouTube channel as well. I'll be linking all that in the description down below as well. Make sure there's no spelling errors or anything like that, so yeah, check the YouTube section, guys. Anyway, she's opened up here with a quick pool. This is also something that looks like it's getting a bit cheesy, perhaps willing to hit the all-in versus Wardi. We should quickly note, though, that Livibee is playing at the time of this match from Australia, while Wardi plays from Europe. I'm not sure if they met in the middle on North America or where the server was for this, but it's safe to say neither of these guys are likely playing the smoothest game of StarCraft of their life. But Livy's opening here is really interesting for a couple different reasons, because even if it wasn't a Baneling Nest follow-up to this, the beauty of these earlier sixlings is you typically get over here and cancel the command center going down on the low ground, or at the very least, stall it out by killing the SCV. Wardi, however, perhaps a little paranoid of what's coming, decides to build his command center up on the high ground, and in fact, it does appear he has some knowledge, I guess having seen so many Zerglings that there's an attack coming his way. Not 100% sure if he's clued into the fact that it's Banelings, but he knows something is coming. So a bunker goes down rather promptly, and it's good defense here for Wardi, because for Livy, she's going to have to use 4 to 6 Banelings just to break the wall. Once that goes down, all you got to do is survive the Lings. And there's honestly not that many. A bunker should hold. But the bunker's not done yet. The timing's pretty nice. The depot was kind of low from the Lings chipping away, and Wardi didn't repair. That Baneling's going to get a sweet hit off of these SCVs, leaving them all at like 1 or 2 health. And these Lings should get a lot of kills. This is not good for Wardi. Actually, I say that, but the Reaper in the back sniped a lot, and not many workers ultimately died. 4, in fact, in total, and a depot. I wouldn't say this was necessarily worth it for Livibee, because she did cut workers to make this happen. However, she's got a hatchery on the way. She's going to try and make up for this, but she definitely did not, in my opinion, do enough damage to justify this attack. And rather than go straight into droning, she was also forced to make more Zerglings. I think she's very aware that she doesn't want to continue trying to bust up a ramp that's got a bunker, but more that she's more afraid of a counterattack, whether it's a couple of Hellions or a Reaper. So I like that she went for a couple Zerglings. However, because Wardi is playing more passive and not aggressive, they are ultimately going to hurt her, because each of these Lings could have been another drone and a faster road to recovery. Now, Wardi's also gone for a Viking, actually. I'm a little bit curious about Wardi's follow-up to this. Just so you guys are aware, by the way, both Livy and Wardi are like at least Masters level or above. Wardi actually, I made a joke with his intro, but he was actually the only Terran player to make it far enough into BTSL Season 1 to get prize money at Vancouver, which was funny and a bit of a meme, frankly. And Livy's done a lot of stuff, actually. Shout out to all the way back to one of our first live events ever, Hell's About Time, so you guys may remember. We had Livibee and Crank fly out to cast alongside myself and Zombie Grub. So, I mean, these guys have been around the scene for a while, and I guess I keep saying guys. Someone's going to get mad at me. I know Livy's a girl, but the point is, these folks have been around for a while, and I've loved and known them for quite some time. So it's kind of cool getting to see them go up against one another, actually. It's just a little bit of a smile on my face, this whole cast, just because of who they are. It's not something you'll get to see too often. I know some of you may have already paused or turned off the video because these aren't Korean pros, but this is a rarity to have something like this go down. At any rate, looks like that Ling's blocking out Wardi's natural expansion, which sucks because I brought all his units across the map to try and do some harass, which at the moment is not being too effective. She actually gets a surround on top of the Hellions. Wardi realizes a little bit too late, costs him a lot. In fact, that Reaper will probably go down. Yeah, and two of the Hellions. I think Wardi wasn't looking because he was clearing up the Ling back at home. Whether Livi knew this or not, the timing was perfect, and Wardi gets his 5-minute expansion down. Immediately dropping some mules. He can't really even afford to transfer a lot of his SCVs over because they are so weak they could be picked off by a single Ling running by. He's going to quickly try and erect a wall, but as we know, Wardi sometimes has erectile dysfunction, so this wall not fully up in time to stop a Ling from trying to run in and scout. Hopefully we'll be finished before Livi goes for another attack. The big question for me, though, really is what's Livi's follow-up to this going to be? Wardi's not typically actually a big mech player to my knowledge, so playing bio is kind of expected in a way. If that's the case, then she's free to stick on Lings and Banelings and have no problems worrying about a transition until later on at Hive Tech. A little bit of poke here towards the third. She's going to move up with some Lings to see what's going on with Wardi. Wardi not exactly super late to a third, but I do want to highlight that he is emphasizing production right now over either upgrades or another command center. I mean, the opening to this game, I think, threw both these players off a little bit. And I think ultimately affected Livibee more than Wardi, but she has recovered very well out of this. And my fear is that if Wardi is going to go for a Terran 2 base all in, it might not work. It's a good move to do, I think, if you're intending to do this from the get-go and you have no interruptions along the way. You know, you get that timing with Stim and you get over there with the tanks, but for Wardi, this doesn't seem to be the case. And in fact, even if he was going for a timing, it wouldn't be with a very nice 1-1 timing. His engineering bays are only just now going down. So nothing too critical to speak of him. I'm just saying that the direction this game is going appears to be less about, oh, well, never mind. A third CC is going to get plopped down. Yeah, part of the follow-up to that train of thought was if he doesn't go soon, it's going to be too late. But if he is going to play for a third CC, then it's fine to sit at home, take his time to get his upgrades. Playing defensive against Zerg is actually not the worst thing a Terran player can do, but you do need to get out there on the map at some point, because if you let Livibee spread her creep and take all the bases, you're going to have a very difficult time finding any openings in the late game. She's only on lair, so she hasn't like skipped ahead to go for Hive. Wardi actually goes for a scan because he hasn't scouted since that Reaper earlier on, so I think he's really hoping to see a bit more than just a lair. Look for something like a Spire or an Infestation Pit, but at the same time, Livibee is not exactly going for an incredibly complicated build. Like, it is just, you know, continue to expand, get your drones up, get the economy flowing. Right now, they're matching each other actually on the income pretty nicely. But of course, a lot of that is Wardi's mules. And the beauty of mules is it's a small boost, but it also mines out your minerals much quicker. So if he's not careful, if Livibee actually gets aggressive and does some soft contain, she doesn't have to dedicate to like a game-winning move, but as long as she keeps Wardi from taking a third, he will starve himself out of this game. But a pretty good army supply, in fact 42 to be precise. Livibee does not currently have an adequate army to deal with this. Bailing speed is, what, about 10-15 seconds out? That'll be okay. Infestation Pit's on the way. She's definitely thinking about Hive Tech, but we'll see if Wardi gives her the opportunity to do it. As long as he's doing some harass, she can't just free fly to Hive, that's fine. He doesn't have to get massive drone kills. He doesn't have to kill 14 queens. All he has to do is stop her from having a smooth ride up to that Hive. Because right now is typically the weakest point in a Zerg's, I guess, path in this game. You're putting so much tech down, you're investing a lot of your ass into things like that Infestation Pit, like this 1-1. You're not going to have a lot of units, and she doesn't because she's made so many drones. So this drop comes to the main, and there's almost nothing to oppose it. In fact, Wardi might even be wishing he had just brought everything with him here. Now, there is no stim for these Marines. It's done here in a few seconds. 1-1 also. You know, I talked about a timing. It's actually going to work out pretty nicely for him. Livibee, of course, only needs to ram a couple of good Baneling shots, and she'll be good to go. But there's an attack to the south, and the Banelings can't respond to the main because they got to deal with what's down here. Wardi does end up clumping a bit, loses both of those Widow Mines and several of the Marines. The attack in the main base is getting cleaned up as well now, too. Livibee still not quite on her own 1-1, but actually fends us off pretty well, considering she was down, like, nearly half the army supply to her opponent. But that's the beauty of Banelings. You, of course, get that nice splash damage out of it, and if you can get those good connects, suddenly that army supply is not so daunting. Either way, for me, I'm keeping an eye on Wardi. Yep, he needs to move his third on over. Take this base and get that economy rolling, because he does actually have some really nice production. And he's got more buildings coming down. He's just going to need money to support said production. He does have an armory, but he's not started his 2-2 yet. Got the money for it. He's probably not thinking about it, because there's a lot of action on the map as he moves on back down here to the south for round 2. Livibee's actually got for pathogen glands, which I find really interesting. Not a lot of Zerg players using infestors nowadays. I'm a big fan of infestor play, but if the pros aren't using it, you typically don't see the amateurs either, so let's see what Livi can get away with. She's got a couple Hydras coming out. Hydra-Ling Bane is a perfectly acceptable combination of a composition, but I think right now, if she really wanted to just overwhelm Wardi, like a pure Ling Flood could get the job done. Wardi does not have that many units, but Lings and Banelings are kind of expendable. They typically die after that first attack, so Hydras at least have a little bit more durability and, I guess, reusability? Is that a word? You get through more than one fight with Hydras is my point. The Viking lands, I'm unsure why. It does help a little bit, I suppose. A couple Widow Mines set up on the left side, but she takes them out with the Banelings. Nice moves here out of Livy. Wardi splits his forces, but this is getting a little bit messy. And shots go off. The Hydras, of course, are going to start pushing up forward. I've just realized a grave error I've made, by the way. This was supposed to be something I was locally recording for a YouTube video. I've accidentally hit start streaming on Twitch, which I presume has the wrong title on it. So as I have no browsers open to see this, I will just briefly say hello to anybody tuning in. This is only one broadcast, and I guess I will be uploading it directly to YouTube from Twitch, even though my intention was to put it directly to YouTube. But I will use this brief moment of time to remind you all that if you haven't been following our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/BaseTradeTV, just shameless advertising, I have been uploading some YouTube exclusive content over the last few days, and this is one of those videos. So, while not intentional, I'm going to try and capitalize on the blend as I look over at my OBS and see the stop streaming instead of stop recording button is highlighted. Well done, Rifkin. You've truly mastered being a broadcaster in 2019. At any rate, that doesn't change the pace of the game. Livy's still going to get over here and try and catch these medevacs. Wardi looking to get something done, but, well, maybe not doing a lot of damage directly to Livibee. They've had some interesting trades. I mean, look at the resources lost. It's almost even. I think the key difference is the way this tech is progressing. You know, Wardi had the opportunity to get his 2-2 much sooner than Livibee. His armor comes down a little bit later, but she's already on her path to Hive, and in fact, he sees the timing. The Hive finishes now. Banley's come in to try and clean this up. Medevacs pick up. He gets the heck out of there. But he secured a third base. He's got a nice wall to go with it, and a fourth is on the way. It's a slow progression for Wardi this game, but I think I like this aggression. It's not overcommitted. It is getting some nice harass. Oh, fungal growth keeping this medevac and the Marines in place, only to die. Of course, I guess the small highlight there, because a lot of people still don't know about this. Every time we mention this on stream, a lot of people just kind of go like, wait, what, really? But fungal growth, one of the beautiful things it does now is it prevents units from being picked up to fly away. It also prevents things like stalkers from using abilities such as blink. It's not just a way to do a little bit of damage in AoE, but also to secure units to the ground to ensure your kill. Either way, we got 10 Corruptors coming up out of Livibee. I gotta imagine this eventually ends up being Broodlords, with the Greater Spire about halfway done. Not a lot of players are really keen on Ultralisks, but if you guys haven't seen, there's actually a community patch note. I guess I'm recording this on January 17th, 2019, and I believe yesterday they announced some of the changes they were looking into, and one of them is actually increasing the Ultralisk speed upgrade to, I think, is it almost double the current effectiveness? They're gonna be really fast off of creep. And I don't know that I like that, but it would be interesting if it gave them power back to the matchup. I'm not sure if Wardi's really thinking about it right now, but whether it's Broodlords or whether it's Ultralisks, late game rolls around, you're going to want either a lot of Liberators or a lot of Ghosts. And in this case, he's actually throwing down 2 starports, so it might just be a lot of Liberators. Or Vikings, I guess, would work too, if his focus is on the Broodlords and less about the ground army. But that's the beautiful part of this Terran late game composition that can complement each other. If you can take out all the Lings and the Banelings, and the Marines can stim under the Broodlords, or vice versa, you just use Vikings to take out the Broodlords, so your Marines can battle with the Lings and Banes. Either way, his composition will have to be very solid, because Livy's is looking, well, perhaps not the greatest supply right now. She's had really great fights this game, and it's still so close on the resources lost. Nobody's really getting super far ahead. The worker kill count this game is also relatively low between both of them, and ooh, there's the big reveal of the Broodlords. Wardi may have known this was coming, but it was kind of that confirmation of timing. Fungal Growth, the company of this too. She's actually going for a lot of infestors. This is more infestors than I've seen in an average ZVT, and I've got no complaints about it. I love the potential they bring to the matchup, but they are very difficult to use. And I'll go back again just to remind you guys that when this match was played, there was definitely some cross-server play elements in effect. In fact, Livy had, I don't know which game it was in particular, but she had just casually mentioned to me that during one of these games, she had spiked all the way up to like 600 MS or something. And for those who don't really know what that means, it's very, very, very laggy. Raptors get picked right out of the sky. A bit of a waste over there. But she still has the Broodlords to the top side. The downside is they're slow. They're not going to get here very fast. And by the time they respond, this fight might already be over. I'm saying that a little bit early, though. She's got some fungal growth that'll buy her some time. It's some nice splash damage. I love these spreads out of Wardi, though. So hard to get this damage done in the fungals that she wants when Wardi's units are spread out so thin. Only catching a couple of Marauders, a couple of Marines. The Broodlord's coming in late. I like that she kept the Banelings back, though. The base falls, which kind of sucks. She's got another one to the top side, but this is all of Wardi's army. If she can get these Banelings to connect, the fungals pair up with this. Okay, a little bit too hopeful. Wardi actually picks up and gets out of there, but that was possibly an engagement Livy could have really capitalized on. In fact, grabbing some of the tanks of the retreat is going to be nice, too. Broodling's going to chase these down best and as fast as possible. This is a planetary over here to the left side, so simple run-bys aren't going to cut it. But Livy's not really been looking for run-bys. She's looking for big attacks, big games. Broodlings expire pretty quickly, but those infestors have a lot of energy, and I can't get over that because it is a pretty big deal. Whether it's a lot of infested Terrans getting thrown out there, whether it's a fungal growth, the fact is she's got a lot of potential with these things, and fungal's 30 damage. It's not negligible. It would kill this tank, for example, if she landed it on the tank, and she does, and that tank is going to die. Raptors also got remade, so the Vikings don't have free firing capabilities on the Broodlords. There's not much support on the ground, but there are those Broodlords in the sky, and Wardi doesn't appear to be able to deal with this. His army supply is really not recovering. He's down to 50 to versus 82 of Livibee. GG's get called. Livibee is going to take the game and be your victor in this once-off cast. Now, that being said, I know I've messed this up and accidentally done this through Twitch. I'll have to go download this and re-upload it to YouTube. But for the YouTube audience, people watching, make sure you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'm going to actually add some dead space here for some spoiler-free. So I don't have any other messages to really post other than look forward to more content in the future, and I'll see you guys next time.